Siddharth Nath Singh, National Secretary of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, defense analyst from Pakistan, joining us from our studios in London. G. Parthasarathi, former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan, and Jan Achaksai is leader of the PMLN, Nawaz Sharif's party, and a political commentator, presumably in a state of shock today. KC Singh, former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, and Hassan Khan, his group editor of Khyber TV. He's joining us from Islamabad from our link there. General G.D. Bakshi, RSN Singh, formerly of the RAW, from Kabul. I'm delighted to be joined by Habib Wardak, who's a political and security analyst. Mr. Wardak, thank you for joining us. And we'll be joined by a member of parliament from Bangladesh also in a little while on the program this evening. Okay, Abid Rao, you know, you can wake up someone who is sleeping, Abid Rao, but you cannot wake up someone who is pretending to be asleep. We have carried out the surgical strikes. We went across the border. We have killed at least 40 Pakistani terrorists and at least 9 Pakistani army personnel. So wake up, smell the coffee, and learn to behave yourself in the future, because we'll have to do it again if required. Abid Rao, this is a surgical strike.
This is a total bunch of lies as far as I'm concerned, starting from Uri, which is a self-inflicted injury by India, to create the situation which is warlike, which suits the agenda of Mr. Modi. Since last 2 years, he has been saber-rattling with Pakistan, and where he's leading the two countries is definitely not a pleasant thing. The war will result, if so happens, both countries will be left with totally devastated states.
You see, can you cut out all this? Abid Rao,
by democracy. I'm telling you, their agenda is common. If Mr. Modi wants to provoke war, Pakistan is ready for that. Pakistan is not shying away. No. This is your first day. You are celebrating the victory of Indian Army. The game has just begun. Wait till Pakistan responds. Pakistan.
One second. I'll get RSN to respond. 1 second, please. Just wait a while. Wait a while. This. You please come in with your interventions as I allow you.
Is it possible that you kill 40 people and all Indian soldiers come back?
Yes.
Firing across line of control does not mean surgical strike.
Yes.
Please
RSN wait. RSN wait. Listen to me. 1 second, RSN wait. Abid Rao, listen. Compose yourself. Not just as an individual, compose yourself as a whatever you call it. You say you are a nation.
As a nationalist Pakistani, as a citizen
compose yourself. Compose yourself.
We have been avoiding wars, and you have been heating up yourself. You have taken your people to a level where such lies you think will be useful in calming down Indian
so tell me, Partha is amused. Abid Rao, listen. Abid Rao, listen. I've been courteous to begin with you tonight. Now you must extend me the courtesy of listening to me. And may I say this to you? You're a very senior man. By request, you, sir, please compose yourself. And let me ask my question. The point is, viewers, please understand. What are the Pakistanis saying? Partha, the Pakistanis saying no surgical strike happened. These were simply some bullets that were fired across the LOC. So the Pakistanis obviously are complexed about us, Partha, but they are complex to the point that we have some science fiction technology, that we have some bullets which fired from one side of the line of control can go through a multiple hyper curvilinear path and precisely, almost like a video game, rotate themselves around several axes, kill all these soldiers, kill all the terrorists, and also return back. So it's some kind of a bullet boomerang. Abid Rao, how did they die, these 2 soldiers? We killed 2 of your soldiers, you admitted, right? Now my question to you is...
sporadic firing. They are random firing.
Oh, random firing.
For the last 70 years, there has been this crossfire. Your soldiers die, our soldiers die. So what is new about it?
Well, you're in a bind. It's absolutely no surprise to me that you've decided to deny there were any surgical strikes. And let me tell you why. Because if you admit to the surgical airstrikes, you will be admitting... 1 minute,
this is
Abid Rao,
has not said.
Abid Rao, sun lijiye. हो गया सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक और होगा.
अरे आप झूठ बोले जा रहे हो. समझ जाइए. सुबह से मैं देख रहा हूं. समझ जाइए please.
Now listen to me. If you admit to the surgical airstrikes, you will be admitting that there were terrorist launch pads on your side. If you admit to the surgical airstrikes, it will be tantamount to you confirming the proof provided in India's dossier about 17 terrorist camps operating on your strike of the POK. And if you admit to the surgical strikes, it will be tantamount to admitting the complete and utter incompetence of your incompetent army, the fact that it has suffered 9 casualties and its proxies of 35 and 40 terrorists have been neutralized. You remember, it's the start, Abid Rao. It's the start.
There's something wrong with your army.
It's the start, Abid Rao. Remember this.
700,000 army cannot.
You be afraid. Be very afraid, Abid Rao.
What are you talking?
This is the start. You understand that?
You are afraid.
This is the start. RSN is on the other side. RSN. This is the start. This is the start, Abid Rao. Get real.
You can't step.
अब तो बहुत कुछ होने वाला है. Abid Rao, RSN is responding to you. RSN or the Pakistani
hoga.
Abid Rao Sahab.
It is unfortunate. Hoga.
When Abid Rao Sahab, Abid Rao, when Kargil was being planned, you had famously said, you had objected to it, and you had said that after this operation, either there will be a martial law in the country, or we all will be court-martialed. Did you say this? Did you say this, Mr. Abid Rao?
Please.
Did you say it?
I said that
you are lying.
Because our attempt was half-hearted.
And you say that you are a nationalist.
We should have gone full way.
Did you say this?
Stopped. We had gone for an objective. We aborted in 65.
So,
we aborted in 71.
So today be a true nationalist, Abid Rao Sahab. Today, think of Pakistan. Think of Pakistan. The rules of engagement has changed today.
I still have.
Mr. Abid Rao. The rules of this is going to be the new form of warfare as far as India is concerned. Every cycle, proxy cycle of attack will be heavily punctured till Pakistan is destroyed. If we persist with this cycle of proxy war, the thousand cuts theory will now act in reverse. And let me tell you, Abid Rao Sahab, what this operation has shown is that the LOC is incidental as far as India is concerned. It takes two sides to respect a line and maintain its sanctity. What is a line after all? If two sides cannot respect it, and
Mr.
the other message that we have given
is in some kind of intoxication of power.
You will
Somebody has not briefed him on the military aspect,
cogent
on the war aspect.
As far as assimilation
I'd like to get at this stage, viewers, RSN 1 minute. We need to get everyone into the debate tonight. We need to get RSN 1 minute. RSN 1 minute. I can't have many voices, multiple voices speaking together. RSN, therefore I request you to stop. Please, 1 second. 1 second. Just 1 minute. Now, Partha, this is a unique situation. I think, and please, I request you, Abid Rao, please keep sipping as much water as you need during the course of the debate, but don't get hassled, because this is only the start of a very calibrated Indian response unless you behave
react to the lies you are telling.
That's all right. Now the question is, Partha, what is it that the Pakistanis are unable to reconcile themselves to today? Partha.
You see, I have generally respect for the Pakistan Air Force, because unlike the army, they are a professional force. I've known people like Noor Khan in my days in Karachi, and they were immensely professional people who told the truth. Noor Khan told me 1965 was a mistake. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm coming to the present time. Look, they're in denial. When I was a High Commissioner, they told us Kargil was Mujahideen. It turned out to be Northern Light Infantry. When we offered the bodies of their dead soldiers back, your Air Force wouldn't have done it, Dr. Abid Rao. But your army refused to accept their Shaheed soldiers' body back. Why? Because they were Shia and Northern Light Infantry. I'm talking to you as having been a soldier myself. There is a certain honor in these things. As I said, I don't hold the army like that, but I do say that this is a tendency which is creeping in. If nobody had died today, what was the need for your for your foreign secretary to call the American national security advisor, who tells your foreign secretary, well, you pay for what you have done? So, I mean, let us be very clear. And then you talk to the Americans, they say, I say, these guys had Osama bin Laden for 11 years next to the Kakul Academy in Abbottabad, and say they know nothing about it. I mean, please look at your international credibility. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Go into this. I respect professional soldiers, and I'm glad we buried those same, when I was High Commissioner in your country, we buried those same Shia soldiers of the Northern Light Infantry with full honors and religious respect. So, you know, when you say this, please remember you're talking to an international audience. And that international audience is very skeptical. Beyond that, I don't want to say what will happen. We have already moved. I am a diplomat. We have moved. Your SAARC is not going to take place. 4 countries in SAARC have said they won't come. And please bear in mind, you call us kafirs or anything, and you call yourself Islamic. 2 of those countries boycotting you are Islamic, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. Let me tell you some more. The statements we got after Uri of support from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain and Qatar really encouraged us. So I think, look at the cause, look at the wider world. You have, your people have immense talent.
Mr. Achakzai, Mr. Achakzai, what's that? Getting constant interruptions from Mr. Achakzai. My question to you, Mr. Achakzai, and please take my question. Mr. Achakzai, take my question. Take my question, Mr. Achakzai, then go into the debate.
Put me as a show. No, Arnab, I really want to put my perspective, what you have said against my country. Let me tell you the fact. The fact is that what you have today has been a Bollywood stunt. That is what you have done. Your country needs another 200 billion to distinguish between surgical strike and LOC firing.
Arnab,
your country needs to understand that.
Sir, you're sounding desperate. Sir, you're sounding desperate tonight.
Otherwise, we have
Mr. Achakzai, it has happened. It has happened. Ab samajh lijiye. Suniye Achakzai ji. Suniye Mr. Achakzai. Suniye, compose yourself. Compose yourself. Shanti. आप ठंडे दिमाग से सोचिए. मुझे लगता है आप अभी भी स्टेट ऑफ शॉक में हैं, और पाकिस्तान में जितने लोग स्टेट ऑफ शॉक में हैं, आप अपने आप को रियलाइज कीजिए कि आप इंडियन आर्मी से डील कर रहे हैं. भाई, आपके वो कॉटेज इंडस्ट्री आर्मी नहीं है. दिस इज अ सोफिस्टिकेटेड फोर्स.
In state of shock, you are in state of denial.
Well,
your country's men have been killed on our border today. And we have
not one, not one, but if you check, Mr. Achakzai, you will find that the number of casualties of the Pakistani army personnel and the number of casualties of the Pakistani terrorists, there are more bodies than you can put in trucks tonight. Be clear about that, sir. There are more bodies than you can put in those trucks of the Pakistani Rangers tonight. There are more bodies of Pakistani terrorists and more bodies of Pakistani military personnel than you can put in those trucks of the Pakistani Rangers tonight, Mr. Achakzai. So compose yourself. So compose yourself. And now I'd like to go to GD Bakshi. GD Bakshi now, please. Calm down. GD Bakshi, my question to you is this. GD Bakshi, why don't they accept it? Why don't they accept it? Achakzai ji, Shanti.
Arnab, I'd like to remind the viewers of a very critical fact.
Calm down. Achakzai,
Arnab, I'd like to
you're going to burst an artery if you continue like this.
Of a very critical fact. The nadir of the Pakistan army was when the Americans had carried out the raid in Abbottabad.
Someone tell him to calm down. Someone please tell him to calm down. Someone tell him to calm down.
Was jeered and booed by his own officers. This is their nightmare. It has happened to them a second time.
Your soldier is with us.
It has happened to them a second time.
Mr. Bakshi, your soldier. We have captured your soldier today. Do you want to care about it? Do you want to know?
Arnab, I would like to remind viewers that the nadir of the Pakistani army was when, the Americans had carried out the Abbottabad raid. General Kayani had found it impossible to face his own officers. He was almost booed and jeered by the junior officers. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. And that is why I am saying that Pakistan is in total denial, Air Marshal Abid Rao. That is why you are in such a total state of denial that you cannot accept a second time that a raid has successfully been conducted. Your army has been caught absolutely napping. That is why you are inventing these stories.
My question is to Hasan
raid
Khan.
Happened, you came out with the conception of a false flag operation.
Right.
You tried to insinuate that it was India which had killed 19 of its own soldiers and wounded 30
had your army people killed 35 terrorists.
Marshal Abid Rao.
Or Pakistani army
as a military professional. You expect any country to buy that?
My question is to Habib Wardak, please, if I can go across to Kabul.
Do you really expect any
to Habib Wardak in Kabul and to Hasan Khan, who is Group Editor of Khyber TV in Islamabad. Hasan, could you please ask? Hasan, could you please ask Mr. Achakzai to allow you to give an opportunity to speak, please? Yes, sir. Please drink from that cup of tea and calm down, please. Now, be logical tonight. Hasan C. If this was not a surgical strike, Hasan, take my question. Take my question and then reply, please, Hasan. Yeah. My question to you is that I've been seeing everything across Pakistani TV. We've known exactly what is happening, and we've seen 5 press releases from your government today. 5 press releases. KC Singh knows. KC Singh at one time has been the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs, and nobody knows communication dissemination at diplomatic quarters more than KC Singh does. I can say that with safety. KC, before I go to Hasan Khan, 5 press releases from ISI, Interior Ministry, Nawaz Sharif's office 2, Foreign Office spokesperson 2. This kind of response, would you have had it from Pakistan in any situation where this was not a surgical strike? What does this tell you about how the Pakistanis are thinking today? KC, can I just get a reaction from you before I go to Islamabad? KC, please.
You see, this is exactly what Partha was saying, that they always start with denial, whether it's a terrorist act in India or it's Kargil or it's anything else. It always begins with denial, because the army has a certain role in Pakistan and it cannot do any wrong, it cannot suffer any jolt, and therefore it is insulated. Its reputation is sacrosanct. And that is why when Osama's raid came, they were really upset. Then Mullah Mansoor was taken out by a drone. They don't know how to react to that. Now, if drones have been raining on them, Americans have been killing people within the state of Pakistan, what have they done so far for that? Then they said, no, but that is America. India can't do it, that is America. Now, what India has shown is that there is a doctrine which India has developed. Military has not said that they can't do Muzaffarabad. They are saying we conducted an operation along the line of control and we gone after the launch pads. And they've been very good actually, the Indian military. They've not tried to rub the nose of the Pakistan army in the ground. They've not said we've conducted it against the Pakistani army. They said it's against the terrorists. If Americans can kill terrorists whom you can't control, and you say you cannot control the terrorists, then fine, we have to take preemptive action. So it's a doctrine of preemptive action where the military has been given a free hand now. So it's a signal to Pakistan. Now recognize it. This is a signal. We don't want to rub your nose in the ground, but you cannot continue this game of cat and mouse. Exactly. You facilitate their being inducted, militants being pushed into India, then you throw up your hands and say we don't know anything about it. And these are not our people when they are killed. So then Indians will come that side, military will come that side and stop them. That is the purpose of the action today. It is not to start a war with Pakistan, but it is for Pakistan to decide how to react. Either take the lesson, take it home, ingest it and become a better force, or India is ready for the next step.
Absolutely. Now, before I come to you, Siddharth, I want to go to Hasan. Hasan, see, if this was another ceasefire violation and not a surgical strike, then you would not have convened a meeting of all your chief ministers as Nawaz Sharif has done this time. Because you remember, Hasan, when there was a serious standoff at the border and the LOC in 2014, and when civilians on both sides were killed, this did not happen. So on the basis of your own reactions now, you are spooked. You are spooked with the Indian response today. I don't think there's any shame in admitting it, that you've been taken aback. You're spooked, Hassan, as a nation and as the Pakistan Army, Hassan. Because if this was another ceasefire violation, Hassan, and not a surgical strike, you would not have convened a joint session of Parliament to discuss the matter as an emergency scenario. Why are you calling for a joint session of Parliament to discuss an emergency scenario if this is not a surgical strike? Can you tell all our viewers today, Hassan Khan?
I think, look, first Goswami said that when I was coming to this show, I was expecting it to be a gentleman's discussion, definitely not about war, but about peace, because it concerns more than 1,000 and almost 50 billion, 1,500 million people. But the way we are provoking, the way the Indian military or the Indian media, if this is the Indian media, what I am hearing now, and I think this is my first time interacting with an Indian channel, so I am really sorry that the Indian media is more far ahead than the military strategists.
Hassan, can I tell you this? Can I tell you this one thing? No, one thing, Hassan, one second. Siddharth, before you come in. So first of all, welcome. First time you're on an Indian news channel. That also you are on the News Hour. Let me tell you, didn't you get a sense of how the people of India feel when our army went across and gave you a bloody nose today? You want to have more examples of how we feel today? Today there are celebrations all across India. So, you know, you must realize I'm asking you a question. You've not answered me today. Why? You tell me, simple question. We'll talk about peace later. Can you tell us why you are calling an emergency joint session of your parliament? You are so nervous. Why are you doing that? Kya hua?
I think definitely,
why?
This is quite natural. When your prime minister is inviting all the chief minister, when your prime minister inviting the all-party conference, is it not Pakistan is a country? It is a country where there is a political setup.
I don't know if you are a country. If you insist you are a country, I'll agree. But I don't know, grudgingly. You say you're a country, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that. But I tell you this. No, but I tell you this, Hassan. But I tell you this, Hassan. I tell you this, Hassan, that you are in panic mode. You are in panic mode because you are quickly raking up the issue of Kashmir in response to the surgical strikes. You have already been humiliated by the United States of America in 2011 when it entered your territory and killed Osama bin Laden under your noses in Abbottabad, to tell your people that India has done the same with your terror launch pads in Pakistan occupied Kashmir would be a national insult to the Pakistani army.
You have invited me for discussion.
I have invited you for a debate. You're not being able to answer my question.
This is complete. Yeah,
I have invited you for some straight talk, sir.
Insanity.
I'm talking. Let's have some straight talk, Mr. Hassan Khan.
The way you are bringing
Let's have some straight talk.
This is total insanity.
Let's have some straight talk.
Journalist, brother.
Mr. Hassan Khan, Mr. Hassan Khan, you know, I'll tell you the definition of insanity. You have an insane man in your country.
I'm sorry. This is not... Yes, I am an insane, because the way in front of me, there is an insane speaking in front of me. Now, this is not a gentleman's debate.
Sure.
This is not a gentleman's discussion.
Hassan,
why you brought me here?
Hassan
just
Khan,
to abuse Pakistan.
Just to abuse
Pakistanis.
Hassan, because you bleed us.
Sorry, brother. If you want just to...
Because you send people to kill us.
Which doesn't understand or has a dictionary called gentleman.
Yeah.
I don't think you represent a country which understands the word gentleman, so do not preach us that. Now, hang on. If you have come for a discussion and you want to talk about peace,
I'm here for discussion.
First chapter that you have to open on peace is come out of the denial. There is a reality on the ground which is happening, which is promoted by your state. Now, having said that, we must rewind also. What did you do in Kargil? All the spokespersons have already said, those who are in the debate. You went back rushing to the president, Mr. Clinton, and begged for a peace. Now, why did you go for that? You were at that point of time in the denial. Today you are in a denial and you want to talk peace. But with the denial, no, Mr. Khan, please hear me out. With the denial,
Habib,
you are also threatening.
Wait, Mr. Habib, I'll come to
afternoon we are hearing your ex-journals who are sending threats to us. We can do this, we will do that. If nothing has happened, then why issue a threat? That becomes an empty threat. And
this is not
let me also add, India doesn't get bogged down with it. It's a paradigm shift in the Indian policy towards Pakistan. And you must understand that. We have said enough is enough. You took our patience as our weakness. It wasn't our weakness. And our threshold has
crossed the border. You just crossed the border and then see. This is just a propaganda. It's like a Bollywood film.
And we and you could be under the army control. We are a democratic country.
Just cross the border and then see. Just cross the border and then see.
Okay. No, we have already done that. So don't let us.
We have a
there is already.
One second. Hassan, listen. One second. Can I get from Kabul, from our studios in Kabul? I'd like to get Habib Wardak into the debate tonight.
Came in between.
Habib,
these are matter of fact.
Let's get Habib Wardak on the debate tonight. He's a well-known political and security analyst from Kabul. Habib, you're seeing the responses of the guests from Pakistan. With something you'd like to say to them, please. Sorry to keep you waiting. Yeah,
I'm witnessing responses both from India and Pakistan, and I've been listening very patiently from the past 35 minutes. And my expectation is that all of you listen to me for the next 3 to 4 to 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
Surgical strikes is not a new phenomena at all in Pakistan. I don't know why is it so hyped. Surgical strike is basically going into an area, eliminating your target without or minimal collateral damage. Drone strikes is a very good example of surgical attacks.
Agreed.
Which is not which is a phenomena in Pakistan for the past 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 years. So we shouldn't be amazed that a surgical strike happened in Pakistan the past 2 days from India. It has been happening in Pakistan for the past 7 to 8 to 9 years. Pakistan, India, South Asia as a region, war is not for the benefit of Pakistan, for India, for Afghanistan and the whole region. What is in the benefit for the whole region is to act against those elements which causes turbulence, disturbance, not within the territorial borders of Pakistan, but across those territorial borders. That has to be taken very seriously. Terrorism is an example of trash lying on surface. And South Asia is a neighborhood of houses. And if you have trash inside your house that causes diseases, not just to yourself, but it makes people and your neighbors sick, and you're warned 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 to infinite amount of times to take care of trash that has been created within your territorial boundaries, and you're not doing anything about it. There's a threshold to it, and once that threshold is crossed, you go out and you do it yourself. You try to clean it for yourself, which is not good in the first place, because it shouldn't be India's business to go into Pakistan. It shouldn't be Afghanistan's business to go into Pakistan. Pakistan should take care of it by itself, but it has crossed that threshold. It has made people sick and tired of this phenomena of producing and eventually exporting terrorists across borders.
Hear that.
Cutting India, bleeding Afghanistan by more than 10,000 cuts. There's a threshold to it. War is not in benefit of anyone. It is not in benefit of the people of Pakistan. People of Pakistan have suffered as much as anybody else. But it is high time that the Pakistani establishment, and specific to their military and specific to their intelligence services, should realize that enough is enough. Because war is not in benefit of everyone, and Pakistan does not have to lose much, even though if it goes to war. But yet again, enough is enough. They should be human enough to realize what they're doing is against humanity. Forget about Islam, forget about kufr. It's about doing the right thing. It's about standing for what is right. I mean, what sort of interest are we talking about when they surpasses the value of human lives? And this is very unfortunate.
Habib, you put it very well.
What this region requires is elimination of poverty. What this region requires is infrastructure development, education. Above 40% of us lives below poverty line, and yet we are busy producing elements that causes troubles in our neighborhood and our neighbors.
Habib, you make a fine point there.
If you look at Islamic ideology,
you make a fine point there, Habib. If I may intervene, sorry, I didn't want to intervene, but I want to take the flow of what you're saying, and I want to put this out to our Pakistani panelists. And I don't know whether Abid Rao is as unreasonable as he's trying to make himself sound. It appears to me that he's a reasonable man. Sometimes he wants to appear to be hyper-patriotic. He's in a bind out there. Emma, shall Abid Rao understand this? Can I ask a simple question? You ever asked yourself why all surgical strikes happen in Pakistan? And I'll give you examples. You've already been humiliated by the US. What Osama bin Laden killed in Abbottabad, that was a surgical strike. Mullah Mansoor was killed. He was from the Afghan Taliban. He was killed in Quetta. You remember that? That was a drone strike, a surgical strike. Your soil. You understand that? These people are not caught in Iran or India or Kazakhstan. All these terrorists are always found in Pakistan. Mullah Mansoor. And Habib, you will remember this, that Mullah Mansoor was killed in an American drone strike. And Pakistan called it a violation of its sovereignty.
Which was a surgical strike.
It's a surgical strike.
Which was a...
Precisely.
Which was a surgical strike. It's a surgical strike.
So the question is, Abid Rao, that these people, Osama bin Laden, Mullah Mansoor, Sayyid Salahuddin, Hafiz Saeed, these people threaten the interests of all countries in your region. And one second. One second. I want to complete this and then you respond. Sir. Don't you think that the threshold, what Habib Warda calls the threshold, you cross the threshold, what we in Hindi call Lakshman Rekha. You cross the threshold, we'll go after you. You don't expect us to do nothing and sit there and continue to be led by you. We'll come after you, sir. We are coming after you now.
Whenever it comes, in whatever size it comes. The question is,
why are the surgical strikes all on Pakistani soil? Answer my question.
You cannot equate that. You are not America for us. We cannot go back to American soil.
We've done exactly that. You wake up and face the reality. America carries out surgical strikes on you, and we carry out surgical strikes. 1 minute. Habib is responding. Habib. You can celebrate whatever you want. Yes, Habib.
You can encourage
Habib.
But if you're
if I may have to interrupt.
Look what cannot stop.
Look at what happened. Look at what happened.
I mean, there is better shame for your army.
Look at what happened in 2011. Osama bin Laden was captured near Abbottabad base. Look at what happened. Look at what happened in 2010, 2011, 2012. Pakistan has been denying it. The military establishment has been denying it. And you can't deny it once, you can deny it twice, but you cannot deny it for the rest of your lifetime. Remember what happened in you have to ask yourself a question that why did
it has nothing to do with
you have to ask yourself a question that why
this is not
what is going on in Afghanistan? Is it a war of liberation for you as well? What is happening in Afghanistan? Definitely not. Look at what happened. Look at what happened in Pathankot.
Why did you give a passport to Bramdah Bukti?
Why didn't India?
It is very good to talk nice things.
Look at what happened in Pathankot. In Pathankot, whatever happened, India did not carry surgical attacks. But you crossed that threshold. So you have Pathans every day in India.
All
you have
countries
the
are
AUF, the American University.
General Bakshi.
You house Bramlak Bukti, he's now in India.
Sir, please
he's been given
understand.
asylum.
There is time. RSN is back on the debate. RSN is back on the debate. Okay, General Bakshi.
A very pertinent question.
General Bakshi before the General Bakshi. Yes, General Bakshi.
Arnab, I'd like to remind our Pakistani interlocutors that a very, very significant psychological threshold has been crossed by this operation. In tactical scale, it may not be a very large-sized or a major operation, but in terms of its significance, in breaching a psychological threshold, it is a very significant development in South Asia. Please don't forget that after 1965, after 1971,
yes, Maruf, coming
the LC and the international border has not been crossed.
This will not go unnoticed. You are right.
Even in Kargil,
you are absolutely right. This will not go unnoticed and unpunished.
The line of control. So you were saying it is just a cross-border firing. Thank God you come out with the truth. It has slipped through.
It is a beginning.
Admiral,
whatever you have done will be paid back to you.
Sorry, thank you, Air Marshal. Thank you, Air Marshal. The fact of the matter is, Air Marshal Abid Rao, you are a reasonable man. I am telling you that for 30 years, this country exercised restraint. We did not react to your asymmetric adventurism across the border in Punjab, across the border in J&K, and then since 1993, all over Indian cities. Now you have been witness to a clear paradigm shift. The LC is not sacrosanct anymore.
We accept it.
If you have give your
KC on the debate,
the right to cross and inflict casualties.
No. Maruf's wanting to come in. You see, I want to summarize. I want to summarize. GD, one second. GD, one second. I want to Hassan Khan. I just want to summarize your situation today.
Yeah. I want a chance to speak.
Just coming to you. You see, Hassan Khan, consider the situation of your country today after these surgical strikes. One, you have to deal with UN drone strikes on one. Hassan, you have to deal with UN drone strikes, US drone strikes on one side, and you have to deal with Indian strikes on the other. The United States is carrying out surgical strikes on Afghan, Taliban and Haqqani hideouts in Pakistani territory. It's in no position to tell us you don't do the same. We are doing what the Americans do. And we are all going to come and hammer you. Not hammer you, with the minimum collateral damage, go after the terrorist camps. Your interest, Hassan, is in joining Indian and American forces and all forces who come into your soil, though this is actually our soil, it's Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, who come into your areas where you have your people and take out your terrorists. You should be thanking the Indian army today, Hassan. We are delivering to you the lives of Pakistani terrorists. We are killing them for you. You say you are hit by terrorism. We are killing the terrorists for you. And we went to our territory. You should say thank you to the Indian army for doing what it did today. Unfortunately, you don't realize that you are facing a war on terrorism on your soil on two fronts. No, one second. The western and tribal areas where the Afghan Taliban and Haqqani networks are flourishing as a result of your protection, and on the eastern front with India where you protect terrorists who make their way into Kashmir. Hassan, understand your mind.
Okay.
Hassan, understand your situation.
Yeah, the question is taken. Yeah. The question is taken. Yes, I know. The area to which I belong, I suffered a lot of terrorism, and I'm still suffering, especially northwest of Pakistan. This is the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. In the
so say thank you to the Indian army, Hassan.
And I understand. Look, listen, at least give me some time to speak, please. I will request to speak. Let me say something. I know the agony of the Indian people who are facing, definitely when there is a terrorist activity. I know the blood of the innocent people, the mothers crying, the children's crying, the elders crying. Yes, that is an issue. And I agree with Habib Wardak that this is a big issue and we must deal this issue of terrorism, extremism jointly, not the way, unfortunately, we are trying to establish that you have done a surgical strike. Yeah, you have done a surgical strike. Let's say, like, I will agree just for the sake of discussion with you, what you have achieved. You are trying to militarize the whole Pakistani society. Yes, Pakistani nation is just behind its forces. And I think the day you cross the red line, as we have given it to the American also, the day you cross the red line, you will feel the heat. So I think instead of
Maruf needs to come in here.
Instead of putting the 1,500 million people into poverty, as Habib Wardak said,
you are a Pashtun.
War bring poverty.
No, you are a Pashtun. No, one second. Maruf will respond to you. No, 1 second. You are a Pashtun. You should know what the Punjabi generals of the Pakistani army have done to you. You should rise against that. Anyway, it's your choice. It's your choice. I'd like Maruf to come in. Maruf to come in, please.
Maruf. This is not an issue of Punjabi or Pashtun.
Anyway, let's not get into Zarb-e-Azab. I have my own views on it, and so do many international observers. But let me respond to the other points you've made, sir. The first point is, Pakistan society has traditionally backed the military and its agenda. All your military interventions in politics have been welcomed by your people, unlike the recent example in Turkey, where the military decided to take over again and push Mr. Erdogan away, and the people on the streets of Istanbul clobbered their soldiers who were weeping and asking for forgiveness when they put them out of business. So there is a lesson for you. Instead of going with the military narrative, it may do you some good to produce a counter narrative within your country. The second point I wish to bring out is that this operation does not militarize Pakistan society, but perhaps helps both India and Pakistan to redefine their relationship, that how much you want Indian patients to keep absorbing. Whether this is a strategic lesson, time will tell. It is certainly a tactical shot in the arm and a turning point in how we will respond in future should the threshold be crossed. But let me say that the Indian DGMO made it quite clear that this was not an attack on Pakistani military forces or their troops. This was an attack on terrorists, on pinpointed information who were planning to cross over into India and do once again impunity which they have done in the past. The other point to understand is Pakistan has had 3 turning points in recent memory in terms of dealing with these unconventional conflicts. One was the humiliation when Osama bin Laden was found there, first denied by your military, then having to accept it based on overwhelming evidence. Hafiz Saeed even led Osama bin Laden's janaza ki namaz. Agar wo zinda tha to uski janaza ki namaz kyun padhi? The next point is that the Peshawar attacks of 16 December 2 years ago again were an inflection point, but you again began to go with the narrative that those who attack you are terrorists, those who attack Indians are your freedom fighters and your proxy warriors.
Well said, Maruf.
Air Marshal Abid Rao is a very highly educated and sensible man. I've had the privilege of a cup of tea with him in London. So I feel sad when he echoes the Pakistani ISI narrative, because I know deep inside there are good people like him, but unfortunately victims of a system which has completely got disoriented. The final point, sir, which I want to make, that India's military operation was in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which we constitutionally claim. You don't claim it as part of your territory by your constitution. It is Indian territory. And hot pursuit which we carried out is an international recognized military operation.
Habib from Kabul. Habib from Kabul also.
Military operation which any military in the world can take it as a defensive measure to foil an impending attack if required. This is legally sanctioned.
Very logical
Let me also tell you that in Akbar Ahmed's book, on the thistle and the drone.
I have a very logical
he has repeatedly cited Pakistani politicians who deny in public that they will accept American drone attacks, but off the record tell Americans that go ahead and do it, but don't make it too embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm going across to Habib Wardak. Going across to Habib Wardak. Going across to Habib Wardak now, please. Habib from Kabul.
I have a logical solution. I have a logical solution. I have a very logical solution. For the love of God, let's please not raise our voices, but to look for solutions. A, war is not in the benefit of anyone. 2, Pakistan cannot deny that there are elements in Pakistan which creates turbulences and disturbance. So that's a fact. India, United States of America does not have to act unilaterally into surgical attacks or attacks similar, given that Pakistan comes out of this denial phase and realizes that yes, this is a problem. If they cannot solve it, given that they spend 65 to 70% of their budget on military and military intelligence, they could ask us genuinely, so the region, India,
RSN,
United States,
RSN is coming in. RSN is coming in.
Genuinely, so that we could eliminate this problem.
No, RSN is coming in, but I just before. No, 1 second. Habib, remember, war is not an option, and please be clear today. What we have done today is not war. We have the right to act within our own territory in defense of our own nation. Siddharth, coming to you.
It's not a war.
No, one second. Siddharth's making a point. Siddharth, quickly, moving on. Siddharth is responding.
Mr. Habib, whatever you have said is a welcome thought. Mr. Habib, please listen to others also. Whatever you have said is a welcome thought. We do agree with it. And that's exactly where the India had started off. Beginning from the date Mr. Modi took oath. But somewhere down the line, the Pakistani establishment, the civilian establishment, changed the track under whatever the pressure from the armed forces is, the Pakistani armed forces. Now you are asking them to do the same. I don't think the Indian threshold is going to come down and say we are ready to accept it. No, sorry, we will not accept it. Pakistan must walk the talk now.
Hassan.
If they are saying they're going to fight the terrorism, they must honor the January 2004 agreement that they had signed with India.
Hassan.
We want that to happen, and then we go ahead with them.
Hassan, 1 second. 1 minute. Habib, 1 second. Habib, wait. I have a question to Hassan. No, Habib, 1 second. Habib, you had your say. My question to Hassan is this. Look at it in perspective, okay? If there needs to be peace, Habib, then there needs to be absence of terrorism on both sides. Now, every country has the right to take revenge. And I just want to tell you today, as per your own media releases, Hassan Khan, a targeted area today were the launch pads in the hot springs sector. I want to remind you that in 2013, after the beheading of Indian soldiers, India retaliated through firing in the hot springs area. This is where you push your infiltrators from. This is the area where the beheadings happen. And this is why we have decided to penetrate your launch pads in hot springs. Another area is the Lipa sector, Hassan. I hope you can hear me. A BSF Jawan was killed in 2015 in a ceasefire violation. You can't get away with it. We've taken revenge in that area also. Another targeted area, Hassan, is the launch pad in Bhimber. This is where you targeted Indian civilians on our side of the LOC in 2015. We've targeted Bhimber. So all the areas we targeted are areas where you kill Indian personnel, Indian civilians, and Indian forces from. We have taken our revenge, and we've only started. These are areas where you had your terror camps, you thought you could get away with it. We are telling you today, if you try to do this once again, we'll come there and we'll eliminate the whole lot in one move, and you won't know what's hit you, Hassan. Then we can talk about peace. Do you understand, Hassan?
Yeah.
That is the starting point of talking about peace. You don't talk about peace with terror launch pads on your side. You understand that?
Let's talk. I think yes. Take the discussion a bit forward. Yes, we have a long history. We have almost 70 years between Pakistan and India. It's not only Pakistan. Your Prime Minister went to Dhaka and he accepted that the atrocities in 1970s when Bangladesh was separated East Pakistan.
Thank you for accepting Pakistani atrocities. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you for acknowledging Pakistani atrocities. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you. As a Pakistani, to openly admit Pakistani atrocities is brave. Thank you very much.
The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said...
Maruf is responding. Maruf.
Part of the atrocities.
No,
Maruf,
Hassan. I'm sorry, Mr. Hassan. Mr. Hassan, please get real. This is your ISPR propaganda that Prime Minister Modi accepted Indian atrocities. Your army did rape and plunder. Meri baat suniye, Hassan sahab. Listen to me. Have you ever been to Dhaka? Mr. Hassan, have you ever been to Dhaka? Please go there. Please go to Dhaka and walk up the steps of the Dhaka Club. And you will be reminded with photographs of the genocide your army conducted. And let me also tell you, Mr. Hassan, that your army pleaded at the time of surrender to be allowed to keep their weapons so that they are not linked by the Bangladeshis whose wives and mothers they had raped and humiliated. So please don't give me this bullshit about our atrocities in Bangladesh. Yahya Khan told Tikka Khan, murder 3 million people, they will eat out of your hand. That is why Tikka Khan became the butcher of Bangladesh and then the butcher of Balochistan. Your Hamidul Rahman Commission report says that. You are completely misinformed. Read your own literature and widen your horizons. And don't give us this crap completely on Indian channels that we conducted atrocities. For heaven's sake, at least now admit your army is a bunch of bloated marauders.
Stop it.
They refuse to accept their own dead soldiers in Kargil.
I know my army.
That army has no standing.
I have a confidence
if I belong to such an army, I would have committed suicide long ago.
India, the way you are
talking, I'm so sorry to say that your army in the annals of nations stands so low in esteem. You can do muscle flexing with innocent civilians. You can't fight real men. That's your bloody problem.
And I have seen the life of poor people in the New Delhi streets. For God's sake,
don't give me moral lectures about
don't give us moral lectures.
Please.
Acha, listen, Hassan Khan, I want to get RSN on the debate. RSN is on the debate, please. 1 second. RSN on the left-hand side of the debate. Now remember, Hassan Khan, remember, you will even believe that your territory is impenetrable.
Listen to Habib Wardak.
1 second, Hassan Khan. Be reasonable tonight. You will even believe that in 1965 you were thrashed royally. In 1971 you surrendered. You still believe a wrong version of history. Get real, yeah. Which world are you in? RSN on the debate tonight. Closing this debate in a couple of minutes. Our Pakistani guests in no mood to actually realize that they've been the subject of surgical strikes. RSN, please.
Do you want a war?
RSN. RSN, please. RSN.
Do you want a war? Do you want a conflict?
Arnab, anybody who labels this ongoing proxy war from Pakistan as terrorism is doing a great disservice to this country. Remember, for last 2.5 decades, the Pakistan military has abandoned all pretensions of a professional military. It has been fighting through proxies, through the jihadis. Now, how do you tell, can any of these experts tell me from Pakistan that how do you deal with a state which has abandoned, whose military has abandoned fighting and outsources to the jihadis? Now let me tell you, Arnab, if there is a reaction from Pakistan to this, it will again be through suicide bombers. Take me. Their army, their military is too covered to come and engage in any sort of a duel with the Indian army.
Like a gentleman.
You take it from me.
Brother,
if there is a reaction, it will be through suicide bombers.
I can shout louder than you.
A nation that relies on suicide bombers. Remember, it is not a nation state. That is the definition of a failed state. That is the definition of a failed state.
For God's sake,
a nation which relies on suicide bombers.
I'd say Partha, Hassan, one second. Partha on this part of the debate. Hassan, we
do not compare us with Americans. They are an extra-regional power. We are your neighbors, and we will take every action under the sun to defend our territory and our people.
I can hear you.
We sent.
I can hear you.
I'd like Partha to come in. RSN, I'll get Partha to come in. And just to Hassan on the aside before Partha comes in. Partha, before you come in, Hassan, before you come in, Hassan, we sent 200 gentlemen across the LOC. Yeah, you still not recovered from that. You want to experience some more Indian gentlemen? You won't be able to stand. Okay.
Hassan, I have an important. Hassan Saab, I have visited Peshawar. I've had many friends there. I've lived 5.5 years in your country.
You're welcome again. You're welcome again.
I will come, please. I have too many friends. I don't carry enmity to friends. But I want to ask you one question. You were praising the Pakistan military. Now, you are a good Pashtun. You are from the settled areas, not the tribal areas, I take it. You are from the settled areas or tribal areas?
No. Yes, I am from Peshawar. I am from Peshawar.
Peshawar. All right.
That doesn't make any sense. I am from Pakistan.
Just a minute. This army you praise so much has carried out in North and South Waziristan and in the Khyber Agency military operations against your Pashtun people, where 850,000 have been rendered homeless, 50,000 have fled into Afghanistan. They have bombed and strafed your houses using F-16s in North and South Waziristan and Khyber Agency. And you are admiring this organization as a Pashtun. I admire your patriotism. But if someone bombed my houses, and someone sent 800,000 of my people.
Okay, you have a point. You have a point. Yes, there is a disagreement. I oppose that. Yes, but as a Pakistani, I know that this military has get rid me of the terrorist. What was my position? You know what, when Peshawar school was attacked.
So you attacked the Peshawar school. So when you're military,
the terrorists.
Just a minute. I shall answer you. I will answer you. Your political party you elected, Imran Khan never declared them a terrorist. You are joining the army and opposing your elected provincial government to declare them terrorist. People whose homes have been bombed. I know this is not the Badshah Khan's. This is not Badshah Khan's Northwest Frontier province that I know. Sorry. I'm sorry. I admire the
Pashtun effort. It's not the first time. This is not the first time that the Pashtuns are sacrificing their life for Pakistan. We did that in 1947. We did that in 1965.
RSN is back on the debate.
We did it in this war.
By all means.
I know you're Pakistani.
Do it for Pakistan.
This is my blood.
Do it for Pakistan.
Pakistan is my blood.
I'm not with you. Pakistan is my blood. Do it for Pakistan. Do it for Pakistan. By all means, give your blood in blood transfusion. But the fact of the matter is, do it for Pakistan, and I'll appreciate that. But you're doing it for people, the army. Nawaz Sharif opposed it. Your provincial government opposed it. The army did it. And you are appreciating your army having a sense of shame.
It was.
I think Partha, you made a strong point there. RSN is intervening, and then we close in a minute. RSN, yes.
Baitul Dawa, official funding, and you say it is terrorism. What I was saying, I will repeat this again. Imran Khan officially funding Saminul Haq Seminary. Now look at the same seminary which planned the assassination of Benazir Bhutto. Then you have the entire Pakistan
closing this debate,
funding the Lal Masjid.
Closing this debate.
Its head Abdul Aziz. After that, all that action, he has been allotted land. He has been allotted
closing
land
this debate tonight.
Of Islamabad.
Closing this debate tonight at this point.
Sharif and Nawaz Sharif allotting.
I'd say I understand. RSN, I'm closing this part of the debate. I'm closing this part of the debate. The one thing that comes across to me, Maruf, is the complete embarrassment and the fact that many of our Pakistani guests are just unable to accept on record that the Indian army crossed the line of control, gave them a bloody nose, killed their terrorists, killed their soldiers, and came back unhurt. I think they are stunned with the professionalism and competence of the Indian army here, Maruf.
Arnab, you will need to give them at least a week to come up with a new narrative. You know, you remember one thing, whatever we do, they will come up with a half-convincing set of lies within a week. So let us wait and watch this space.
But Maruf, one narrative which is changing here, and you may have observed it in Partha as well, is that today the peaceniks are all going into hiding. You remember, Maruf, 1 month back, after Burhan Wani was killed, some people came out and said, oh, poor Burhan Wani. Right? Yeah. Son of a, and you remember, Siddharth, there were some people who said, son of a headmaster forced by the cruel Indian state. The Pakistan apologists. The pro-Pak brigade, as I called them at that point of time. All gone into hiding today. We're going to, when we come back tonight, we're going to talk about that change of narrative. So don't go away.
Understatement.
Don't go away. You remember that, RSN. So don't go away. That narrative is changing in India as well. The national mood is changing. And on a day when the Pakistanis, terrorists and the Pakistani army has been taught a lesson by our brave commandos, I'll be back on the other side in a few minutes.